sports heavy here, but one more quick question. Meant to ask this when we were talking about the Vikings losing to the Rams last night. What are they going to do with Sam Darnold now? He had a great season, but 2 bad games to finish at Detroit and then against the Rams. Lost them both badly. They're out of the playoffs. Now, he led them to a 14-3 record, but then a quick exit. And, of course, they just drafted in the first round J.J. McCarthy out of Michigan, who got hurt in the preseason. Darnold was supposed to be just the backup, but he had a fantastic season. Now, but regardless of how much you pay him or if you franchise tag him or all that, is he going to be the quarterback next year? Because I had said before the Lions game, I said I'd keep Darnold and trade McCarthy for a first-round pick. I've heard people say if McCarthy were coming out this year, he'd be the first quarterback off the board. And he's the best, even including the college quarterbacks, and he's never played a game except for a preseason game. So I think you could trade him and get a first-round pick. But now Darnold looks shaky.
Do you overreact because of those 2 games?
I don't know. I don't know what I would do if I were Minnesota.
A lot of your sports talking heads have said that basically these 2 games have cost him a big payday.
Oh, I think that's true. I don't think he gets nearly what he was going to get.
No, and now I guess he could get franchise tag. He's almost hoping for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he gets a lot of money then. Or do you turn the other direction, spin off Darnold for a 3rd-round pick, have McCarthy as your starting quarterback, and not have to pay him much money?
Untested.
Untested. But a lot of people say this coach in Minnesota is like a quarterback guru, and that's why Darnold was so good this year, because he got teamed up with this great coach, O'Connell, and he could coach up McCarthy. McCarthy, in the one game he played in preseason, everybody was like, oh, he looks really good, and then he hurt his knee. So I don't know. I'm not sure which way I'd go. 2 weeks ago, I said keep Darnold. He's proven now. He's really good. Wonder what they'll do. They get something for Darnold, and they wouldn't have to pay him. We'll wait and see. I don't make those decisions.
No.
I think if I were making a decision, I think I'd stick with Darnold. I mean, 14-3 is pretty impressive.
It is.
Even with the losses. Had he gotten to, let's say, the NFC Championship game and lost to Detroit by a field goal, he's probably going to be making $50 million and on the team. That starts a Demm report.
Well, this sounds like something out of a like an after-school special or one of these made-for-TV movies, or potentially a true crime story. A 23-year-old woman in Wyoming, lucky to be alive today after a nightmarish New Year's Eve. It sounds like a fictional movie. Her name is Kaylee Klein. She's telling her story after spending about a week in the hospital. Kaylee went to a bar in Cody to ring in the new year. I don't know the timeline, but pretty soon after, poor Kaylee began having seizures at the bar. She couldn't move, and she was having trouble breathing. Somebody called EMTs. 911, EMTs responded quickly. Kaylee had to be airlifted to a trauma center in Montana. She spent 6 days in intensive care, 3 days on a ventilator. That beats Biggie's record, by the way.
She got you.
Yeah.
I mean,
sorry,
easily.
Biggie. She got you on that one.
She beat me on that.
Sorry, that's right.
Authorities now believe that someone put antifreeze in the drink that Kaylee sipped that night.
Oh, my God.
She told police she didn't recognize who handed her the drink.
Good
This is just one of those New Year's revels.
Good Lord.
But that is just, that is dastardly.
That is, that's like murder. That's
You
like
could
attempted
kill a
murder.
person.
You could, 100%.
You could kill a person.
It is deadly.
Yeah.
My friend who's a doctor.
A real doctor?
I'm not sure.
Is his nickname around the courts just Doc?
Yeah, we call him Doc. Good old Doc. We always call him that.
Uh-huh.
He's a pickle pal.
Here's our new latest
I see.
game.
Okay, all right.
Of course he
He's a
is.
pickle pal. Okay.
My new favorite game is Doc real or not? Or is he just one of your hallucinations again?
No, Doc.
Well, because every movie has a Doc who's wise. So I don't know if he's real or not yet.
Yep. Doc found out I was a radio personality, and he told me I have called a radio station one time in my life. And I said, what? Was it me?
Do tell.
Did you request a song? One time, he said 20 years ago, he was listening to something called the Showgram.
Okay.
You remember the Showgram? They're over in the Capitol.
Yes.
And I
Good show.
desperately wanted to be on the Showgram at one point. Never made the... Never
you
made.
didn't make the grade.
Wasn't Showgram material. Too big a market for me. Never got there.
Still aren't. Let's be honest.
Still not there. Still not Showgram material. Excuse me, my magnetic button has just been moved down another 1/16 of an inch. Fair enough. Not a Showgram member. He said the Showgram was telling people, maybe for April Fool's Day, go ahead and drink antifreeze.
Oh.
As long as you strain it through a T-shirt, it's okay to drink it.
Oh, my God.
And my eyes got really big, and I said, that's
a high-risk April Fool's joke.
That's criminal.
Big time,
I don't even know if it's April Fool's. For whatever reason, they were saying to do it. And he said, I called them as a physician and said, my name's Doc, and you cannot do it. Please stop, reverse your broadcast, and tell people, do not do
Did they
this.
play wacky sound effects like farts and horns and clown laughs or
They did.
penny whistles?
They did.
Or did they take him seriously?
I'm sure they said, "What's up, Doc?"
And I said, and he said, I lost a lot of respect for your industry that day.
I hope your show isn't like that.
Quack, quack. No, our show's not like that.
No. He said they did something.
I know the man standing in front of me today would never stoop so low.
Of course not. Of course I would never do something like that. That is awful. I mean, seriously. To do something like we don't do things like that. So he said that's the one time, and then he said that medium is just simply not for me. So at that point, he got rid.
Turned off the radio that day.
Off the radio because of the showgram telling people to literally to drink antifreeze, which obviously cannot be done. It's poison. I mean, it is poison.
It's poison.
It's killed many.
Remember, but every year people, their animals die.
Yes.
Because they would lick it off the driveways.
I want to say they started making it taste really bad because it used to taste sweet to dogs, and they drink it off the garage floor, and then they had to make it taste terrible, so they wouldn't.
And
do
isn't
it.
that why it's like lime green too?
Yes,
or something?
yes, he said that too.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, old Doc. You know what else? You know,
He's full of wisdom.
You know
if
what
he's real.
I'll tell you what else Doc said. Now this again, he's a pickle pal, and he told me another reason, and great point, that they turned it lime green is on the X-ray or however they see it lights up, so you can see if the person has taken that. That's right.
Why you oughta?
You know.
Are you going to serve? He's over there just talking to himself. What I picture is like the Field of Dreams where no one can see these people.
The ball players.
Yeah. In this role, you're Kevin Costner. He's out. Look at him. He's out there on the middle of the pickleball court talking to nobody.
You ever hear voices out there? You're not hearing voices out there. So Doc says that people used to drink antifreeze intentionally to come into, they were alcoholics. They would drink antifreeze to come into the ER because the drip that they put you on to get rid of the antifreeze out of your system gave you a feeling of being drunk.
You're kidding.
So that has changed. They have changed the makeup. They made it lime green for those reasons too. They've changed that, but it used to be that literally
they changed the IVs.
They've got a new medication. It's come a long way. He told me, so that they don't have that anymore. But many years ago, alcoholics would, if they didn't have any money, they'd drink some antifreeze, go to the hospital, and say, "I've drank antifreeze," and the drip they put them on for a day made them feel drunk. Is that unbelievable?
Man, I never heard that.
Oh, I know. Well, that's old Doc.
Yeah, good old Doc.
That's what he said. If I ever see him again, I'll have him clarify.
Hey,
tell me more.
Tell me more.
You guys seen Doc lately? Who? Doc,
you know Doc called in the showgram that time years ago. We don't know who you're talking about. So there's the doubles team of James and Doc, and they've never played before.
Best team that never was.
That's my team. That story about, and I tell my daughter all the time because she's 16 now. So when she starts going into,
she's gonna go to parties. Just go to bars.
You can't trust anything. You cannot trust. I thought you were going to say, instead of antifreeze, some sort of date rape.
Right. Like a Rufalin.
Which is awful. But
of course.
This is
as
bad or worse.
It's one of those things that sounds, we're older, we're guys, the rules are different, but you have to keep an eye on what you're drinking.
The drink.
Watch it open.
Watch it be open and put it in your hand.
Open it yourself or watch it from the bar.
Never let it out of your hand after you get it. That's
I hate to say this, but if I was a woman today, period, if a guy wanted to buy me a drink, I just wouldn't take it.
I know.
Maybe they don't.
It's terrible to say, but if I was at a bar and it was like the guy over there bought this drink for you. You know, it was handed to me. I just wouldn't take it.
But chances are, well, I mean, she was at a bar, and who knows if they just had, unlimited drinks that
it's
night.
New Year's Eve.
Yeah,
it's New Year's
that's
Eve.
true.
They're just passing around shots of who knows what.
Yeah, but it might have been that way. But on the other,
but only one person got sick.
In that
only
case,
one
It was
person.
pretty pointed then.
Yeah.
And to what Biggie's saying, you're right. I think you have to see the bartender pour it
Right there, yeah.
and keep it yourself.
But if you're young, like your son, he's at a fraternity party or a dorm party or a room party.
I know.
Oh, it's easier said now.
Somebody just comes over with 3 cups. Here's your drink.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
It's a terrible state. I mean, that's a really bad thing. I've watched Shark Tank where the invention is for women, to have something over their drink at all times so that you can tell if somebody.
Well, you'll see it at bars. You'll see people put napkins over drinks, and women will, cover them. But
what a terrible place.
I know.
That's an awful thing.